Hi, Mike DePung here, and I'm glad you're with me. Those of you who know, I won't say many because hardly anybody ever watches these, but for those of you who know me, you know that the thrust of what I've done has been based in a shamanic type sense of understanding that we, in essence, are spirit incarnate. We are spirits with body, and we come here for a little bit to enjoy all of this that we have been co-creators, that we have been co-creators of. We want to come here to enjoy, to wonder at all the beauty around us. We want to come here to enjoy one another. We want to come here to enjoy our own heart self. We want to come here to face challenges, to innovate, to feel, no matter what it is. And when we came here, we knew that we would experience hard times, that we would experience painful times, but we knew and we wanted to come here to remember how great we are, how we have heart energy. Now, we also have ego energy because in order to come here, we needed to do that. I want to say this to live in ego energy is when it's purposefully chosen, when the heart is silenced. Um, it disturbs not only the person doing that, but it disturbs those around that person. And it can have its effect in a very large way as it spreads across the collective. And that happens. Now, we don't have to do anything about it. We could just stay within my own heart. I'm going to know what the spirits say to me and heal. I'm going to remember who I am. That's going to help healing the wounds, the pains, the traumas that we've experienced, because we all do have those things, but we don't have to live in them. We don't have to live as if they are our reality. They don't have to be. We can reframe. We can call back parts of ourselves to remember, to allow it, and to reframe. But we can also care for those around us. Now, there are a number of people who prefer to just not pay much attention because it is painful in many ways in terms of what is going on in this world and the political state of affairs in the United States and in other areas of the world. It's spreading around the world, this whole um, egomaniacal um, thrust to make power, wealth, and control the bottom line of why we're here. That's ego speaking because ego fears being left out. Ego fears not having enough. But spirit, our heart, our real essence that is love, understands and knows none of those things are true. Um, and they don't have to be. But those who purposefully say, yes, they are true, they cause a lot of hurt. And that's going on right now in the United States. Um, that's going on in different areas where there's this ultra conservative right wing type thing of we've got to have power and control. People have to listen because we know the best. And it's not for caring for people, it's just for gaining and for leaving many out, the masses out of freedoms that help us to be able to discover why we did come here, to help us to be able to discover why we are. And I want to just share this real quickly. I'm going to do this little series with poetry because poets, let me back up. There are a number of people who care about the things I care about, and they don't value very much the idea that heart and love are the basis of what should be going on politically. Um, I believe fervently that it has to start there. Otherwise, it's going to devolve into ego energy. It's going to come out being the same. So it has to be based in love. It has to be based in heart. The political decisions, the economic decisions, the societal decisions, the freedoms that we enjoy, that we should enjoy. And freedoms are there for us to just be able to keep exploring self, being so, and to be able to do whatever we feel we need to do from heart that doesn't injure others that doesn't cause destruction of others or of the planet, of the elements. The spirits know and they are watching us. The trees know, the birds, the animals know, all flora, all fauna, all organic, inorganic, their spirit essence in all, and they know and they see what's going on. And I sense this. And so what I'm going to do is share this poetry because poets like the romantics of the late 18th and early 19th centuries, they understood what was going on. These kinds of energies were prevalent then. It just keeps repeating. And that's why if heart isn't involved in setting the standards, if love isn't involved in setting the standards, then it's going to always keep falling back to ego energy. During that time period, the late 18th, early 19th centuries, when the Industrial Revolution was getting full swing, and in England, the Romantic poets and thinkers, and those people who cared, those people who wanted life to be different, understood that there were um, excesses going on of ego because people were taking advantage. I'm going to share a poem with you by a man called William Blake, and I'm going to show you the words of this poem to start with. We're just going to do one thing today, one short verse today. And I'm going to share this. I want you to see it. I want you to see how this goes. So, this is called The Chimney Sweeper by William Blake. It was written about 1790. And uh, there were the economic policy at the time that the government allowed was called laissez-faire. It was hands off, no regulations, because everybody wanted to be rich. Now it was the monarchies were not so powerful anymore because common people were having access to things because of the Industrial Revolution that they had never had access to. And it seemed like there was new opportunity for them to make money. And their dream was in many ways to be more like monarchs. They wanted to be kings. They wanted to have queens. They wanted to have the power, the wealth, the control. And the Romantics saw the folly of that when they saw how it affected society. Here's The Chimney Sweeper, just this very first verse by William Blake. When my mother died, I was very young, and my father sold me while yet my tongue could scarcely cry. Weep, 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 weep. So your chimneys I sweep, and in soot I sleep. This was one of the societal ills that was prevalent at the time because of the desire for making money at the cost of love, at the cost of living in heart and by heart. And what was allowed was child labor very extensively. By the way, I'm going to just put this right up front right now. The works of the romantic thinkers and poets of the time had a big part in changing sentiment of the time uh, to the point that it had a big effect on the parliamentary reforms of 1832 when these things were addressed by legislation and disallowed. So here the evil is child labor. Um, and the narrator of this poem, this little boy, is in a state of innocence that was one of the phases of human nature that Blake believed in. By the way, Blake was a man who had visions, had dream visions, and he portrayed them in amazing artwork. Um, Especially for the publishing industry in doing lithographs and engravings and etchings and stuff. They're amazing. So, having said that, he saw what was going on. He takes on this stage of human innocence expressed by this little boy narrator in the poem. And he said his mother died when he was very young. What would be our response to that? Well, it would be pity. Wouldn't it be, oh my gosh, this little boy, he was probably hardly had a memory of his mother. And here, the very next line just smacks you in the face. And my father sold me. Wait, his mother dies and then his father sells him? Oh, that's ego. That's ego energy because you just wouldn't do it if you had a way anyway to avoid doing this. But people, the economic policy, those in power, those who held power, they were going to let this kind of thing go on because they put people in the position of having to do things like this, to sell their children because they can't afford to take care of them. If you are someone who is listening to this and you think, oh, that's okay, you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, they have every opportunity, just like the bigwigs, just like the power people. No, they don't. And no, you don't probably. So listen to what this hard expression of William Blake had to say. This little boy's father sold him while he could barely speak and he could scarcely cry, weep, 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 weep. And he wasn't trying to say cry, 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 cry. He was trying to say sweep, 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 because he was sold at probably about the age of 5 or so. They tried to get the youngest, smallest children they could to that could do work to go down these black, filthy, sooty chimneys. And then he says, so he said, I couldn't even pronounce what I'm supposed to do. Sweep, 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 sweep. It came out weep, 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 weep. So your chimneys I sweep, and in soot I sleep. This is the one time in the poem where the narrator, the little boy, addresses society. Your chimneys I sweep. It's clear that that's what Blake wanted to do, to address society. And he's already done, he's already aroused heart, energy, hopefully. Um, little little boy loses his mom. His dad sells him into essence slavery, and he's going to have to be a chimney sweep. How's he going to respond to this? What would be our response to this? Well, what about those who are hungry around us? What about the programs that are being cut in the United States right now that are going to leave children hungry? They're going to leave families without when there's no need to do it, when there's plenty to go around. And there are ways to do that. There are ways politically, legislatively, to change that without changing the lives of people that are in poverty, in hurt, people who want to be free, who want to know what it feels like to pursue discovering self and creating a purpose that they feel good about, that is consistent with who they are. That's not happening right now in a lot of places. So I'm going to continue with this tomorrow. For now, I'm going to stop this sharing. And I just want to ask you to come back if you've listened to this at all, if it means anything to you at all, and know that you can access your own heart to ask what's going on here. Go back and read The Chimney Sweeper by William Blake. It's easy to find it online. And uh, think about what's going on in society. What's going on? And is your heart moved in love towards those who are being so unceremoniously cut off because of an oligarchy that this country has become, an oligarchy of bigots, racists, um, elitists. I I probably fall in the category of elitist because I have a nice warm house. I have plenty of food. I'm an old white guy. Am I going to be affected by what's going on? Not much. Maybe some, maybe more so than many of us think. But for now, I want you to look to your heart and think about the love that's there. It starts with you knowing yourself and loving yourself. And then that releases you from the fear of looking at others who are just like us, but their circumstances are different. But we know deep down we're heart, we're love, we are one, and we can't afford to diminish, to degrade, to denigrate anybody else. Because when we look at them, we should be looking at us. Until next time, probably tomorrow, love and peace.